It's Bill Kerbox, and I got the magician of luxury real estate, Pete Middleton, online here. Pete, what's happening, brother? How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. I don't know how many of you follow Inman, but they really are on the cutting edge, and there's a lot going on out there. And so I called Pete and I said, in challenging times, it's important that agents get the direction that they need. And I thought, who can I bring on that is going to really jump it up? And of course, Pete is in the luxury sector, but it really is all the same. So I wanted to have Pete jump in and tell us his thoughts on, how do you thrive in this market? What are some of your experiences and ideas?
Well, I think the thing is how to thrive in a shifting market, because we're definitely in a shift, especially in Southern California. My philosophy is you got to show up. Step number one, you got to show up, and you have to show up with the right mindset, the right focus, and the right energy. I think a lot of people have had it easy far too long in real estate. I mean, you could walk out your door, trip over a buyer, and they buy the house, right, as you're picking them up. But as far as the market now, we're seeing a repeat of where the market was back in 2018. And before that was roughly around 2007, 2008, when it started cooling off. For all the agents out there listening, just show up and be consistent. Be friendly, talk to people, come from a place of service, be pumped up, have the right energy, and reach out to people and see how you can help them accomplish what they want to accomplish. Not what you want to accomplish, what they want to accomplish. That's the key.
So yesterday, you and I had a call, and we were talking briefly about the database. And I know this is a sore subject for many. And because it takes a bit of work, but I'm going to have Pete jump in and share a little bit about his experience. But from my perspective, the database, right, the email database, your contacts, many of you may have 200, 300, 400. Pete, you mentioned you had thousands in yours. The ability now to get part of that process of getting back to work is actually making the calls, right? I've learned from me, been reminded, I've been in real estate 39 years and I also do a little bit of marketing. And if I don't pick up the phone and call clients, absolutely nothing happens, no matter how high I think I am. And I know Pete is an icon in his marketplace. Pete, what's your experience? I know you guys have a database. You've been sending out different pieces, home value offers, and cleaning that up. How's that? What do you feel about that as a part of the process of getting back to work?
Well, I think the database is a key element to getting back to work. I mean, you have to get back to the basics, and it's all about relationships. Both my parents were in real estate for 50 years, and I was taught early on that people don't forget about you. They just feel that you forget about them. And by forgetting about them or not staying in contact with them, they feel, why should they reward you? And the reason being because, life goes on. If you're not involved in people's lives and you're not staying in touch with them, they're going to reach out to somebody else who's in front of them, or, knows somebody else, or is a friend of somebody else. And where I am, there's over 30,000 people licensed in real estate. So seeing a lot of competition. So I would definitely say, get back in touch with the basics, where you're reaching out to people and getting to know what's going on in their life. I mean, a lot of times you could just send them a little handwritten thank you card and just say, hey, I was thinking about you today. Give me a call. Would love to catch up. Just something like that. And don't even talk about real estate. Talk about them, their life, where it's going, their kids, their family, their dreams, their occupation, whatever they're trying to do. Make it all about them. And compliment. And the other thing that's super important is listen with the intent to really understand. Don't listen with the intent to interrupt. A lot of people listen to people, but they really don't listen. They're thinking about what they want to say next, or they say, oh my God, there's another shiny object. I'm going to be distracted about a bunch of different things. But I think that's the key, is really, really get down and talk to people on a level that they know you're on their side and that you're there to help them with any issue they have, whether it's buying, selling, investing, doing transactions out of state and other countries, whatever it is. Don't be out of sight, out of mind. That's typically what happens with realtors is they build up a lot of money and they go on vacations and they do other things and they have an oh shit moment and say, oh God, I got to go back to work. And they don't utilize their database where they're talking to people consistently.
You know, one of the things that we were talking about a little bit yesterday, and I love this whole philosophy of stop selling, right? And just really listen, of course. But the understanding where we're at, and I'm going to actually ask you to, share your thoughts on that, but understanding and be able to articulate where this market really is without any of the bullshit, right? It's the time to sell. It's the time to buy. This is when they really need you on their side. And I love having you on calls because you really are a great message. You really understand the message. How would you share with an agent talking to their client? How would they articulate the current market in a way that it doesn't seem like bullshit?
Well, it's a great question. Thank you for asking it. I mean, I think a lot of agents get up with they feel a need that they have to sell, right? And you were just touching upon that. When you sell, they won't tell. Just remember that. When you sell, they will not tell. You want to learn where they're at in their life and how you can assist them or help them get to where they want to go. And a lot of times that may be staying put. It may be not selling right now. So you have to be honest and really share the data and understand the data and where markets are trending and where they're going. It's tough to forecast or get way out in front of it, but a lot of people, they just want the truth. So go in and say, look, guys, if I were in your shoes, if it was my house, I'm not saying this is exact science or that I'm perfect. However, this is what I would do to accomplish this, or this is what I would do to get here or to go there, whatever their motivation is. I would listen to them really well and say, let's put together a strategy that best fits your needs and helps you get you where you want to be going. And I think a lot of people forget about that. They go in with ulterior motives where, hey, how can I get a listing? And this will be great. And guess what? The listing never sells and you miss the market. So you have to really have a honest, straightforward, with data, with all the numbers, kind of conversation that really shares with somebody, hey, this is where we're at. This is where I feel the market's going. This is the economic factors that could play a role. And this is what I feel you need to do to best position yourself to either get the most equity out of your home or to stay or to do other things. And you have to really have that heart-to-heart conversation with them because everybody's different and everybody has a different kind of motivation, right? Or a different type of life. Understand their struggle. If they have a struggle, be there as a support system and really help them achieve what they want to achieve.
My next topic of the list that I kind of put together with you is, and agents are not going to want to hear this, but for sale by owners and expireds and door knocking. I'm just going to preface this and I'm going to ask your feedback on that. But, the process of getting back to work in real estate, when other agents are crumpling or they're in total fear, this is really a great opportunity right now to really excel in your marketplace. Take your iPhone out there and start to give information about the community. Use this time to get back to work. What do you have to say about FSBOs and expires in a challenging market like right now?
Well, we're back to the basics, right? Those are basic ways to find people who are looking to sell. And, in the past, FSBOs would put their house on the market and they'd sit there and within 2 weeks, they'd list with someone, whoever's in front of them or whoever's most helpful or whoever brings value. That's a big thing is bringing value on a lot of different levels. I mean, right now in the past 12 to 24 months, people were putting their house on the market and they were getting any price they want. The frenzy's over. And we have to educate these people that that's what's happening because they'll miss the market and you're only as good as the last sale. So with FSBOs and expireds, I think it's just having 10 seconds of courage, I call it, where you have a hard talk and you really share the data and say, this is the situation and this is how things are flowing and this is how I can help you if you want to achieve it. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting here and you're going to be chasing the market because the market's not going to wait for you. Door knocking, I love it. It gets you belly to belly. People, enjoy seeing people and talking to them firsthand. You get to really understand the person and be helpful because you're not on a Zoom, you're not texting, you're not emailing. There's no emotion with that. When you're in front of another human and they're listening to you or they're having a real conversation with you, that's powerful. And we're back to those basics. If you do those basics well, the key to all of that is being consistent. And a lot of people aren't consistent. And without consistency, you'll get complacency. And so you have to be consistent.
So I want to share a quick story. I started my real estate business back in the 1800s, seems like, in Marina del Rey. And one day I had a great partner, and sometimes we had 20 and 30 listings. We dominated our market, Venice, Marina del Rey. And one day I told my partner, I just don't want to sell these small houses. I want to go in luxury. So I moved my business up to Pacific Palisades, Malibu. And I remember I was door knocking in the Palisades, and I was so scared. I said, I hope no one asked me the name of the street. I had no idea where I was. But here's what I did, and I'll share this because it's a powerful tool. When I go to the door, first of all, I've got a list of buyers literally in my back pocket. And any of you that know Gene Frederick, he's an icon with EXP. He says he's got his goals there. Well, I had the same thing I had 2, 3, 4 buyers. I went into local offices. I found people that had legitimate buyers. I would walk up to any door, and you don't do the hi, I was in the neighborhood and I'm delivering a pumpkin, none of that BS. I'd walk up and say, hey, Bill Kerbox, at the time I was with Coldwell Banker Real Estate, quick question. Would you guys be open to looking at an offer on your home? That's it. That's all I would say. Nobody ever gave me grief on that. And watch this. Instead of running away when they said no, I'd say, oh, that's fine. Break the ice. As Tony Robbins would say, you break the pattern. I'd say, let me ask you a quick question. If you ever were to go, where do you think you might move? I had people open up and say, well, I'd probably go to Texas. I said, well, when would you do that? They go, well, I've got to be there next week. I just got a new job. And I listed the house. And then I'll tell you one other piece of that. I went into the Riviera, and that's where all the celebrities live, right? And I was door knocking on a house with mansions and guardrails and dogs. And I went up and I was scared to death. I pressed on a button on a door. They had cameras. And I said, hey, it's Bill Kerbox, Coldwell Banker. I just came by real quick. Would you guys be interested in looking at an offer? They called me and I listed the house for $3.8 million. Right now, it would be worth about $45 million. And that's not exaggeration. So when you're out door knocking, you are going to run into all kinds of stuff. Now, here's a little tip. Right now, if you happen to be lucky enough to be with EXP, or even you're not, you have a tool, a home valuation tool. What I do is I print up a card with a big QR code, and all it says is, how much would your home sell for? If you take that card out into the marketplace, and by the way, one of my clients just sent them out on yesterday, and has already had 18 people sign up for the value from the QR code. So they do work. Take that out with you. People still, if they don't want to move and they don't want to talk, just say, hey, if you're curious what your home's worth, hand them the card. So, and by the way, Pete, do you have any experience with locating FSBOs from Zillow? Have you ever done that, or you know anyone that has?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, the FSBOs on Zillow are right out in the open, right? They have a whole FSBO section. And that's people raising their hands saying, hey, I want to sell my house. Now, they all want to try it on their own. Don't tell them they're wrong. Don't tell them they shouldn't do it. Go with the flow and say, listen, I'm just like you. I'd try it too. However, at some point, you're gonna shift your mindset and want to bring in a professional like me, because I have more access to buyers all over the place, and you're only in one channel, right? I have multiple channels. So where I'm broadcasting in hi-fi or Wi-Fi, you're broadcasting in analog. And you have to look at that, because a lot of times they don't realize it. They think, hey, the market's still here. I can throw my price on. I don't have to pay a professional fee, or I'll just pay one side and it'll go without a hitch and everything will be great. That's not the case. And they all find that out. And if it was so easy like that, they would all sell in 1 minute, and they don't. You know, I think less than 1% of FSBOs actually sell on their own, which shows you that it's not that effective because they don't have the advertising avenues, the relationships, and the access to the buyers and the technology that we have. So I think that's really fascinating. If you go on Zillow, you'll see it right there. And that's an easy way to have a conversation and get in front of somebody. And you know something? It's not about listing their home. It's about seeing their home. Say, I just want to stop by 5 minutes, introduce myself.
Amen.
See who I may have for it that can help you. That's it. Come from a place of helping.
Yeah. You know, I ride my bike around the neighborhood and I always run into FSBOs, and I take a picture, and, you know, frankly, I happen to be with EXP. I literally sell that lead to another agent that is willing to go after them. I haven't been as active in the area. But so the expireds, the FSBOs, that's great. I think we're going to kind of wrap it up. I wanted to try and do a kind of a 15-minute snapshot, but I wanted to just give Pete a little kudos here. So Pete's been doing video recently, and what he's done is he's kind of taken a lead in the kind of content he's doing. So he just recently did video of him at the baseball game with it, and you know, with his team, right? And then he was recently in Dallas, right? They're having dinner, and he's doing video. He's letting people know who he is. There's a lot of people that are telling you, wow, once you do a couple of YouTube videos, you're going to be rich. It's not the case, but I know for you, Pete, you've been building your brand about video. I know you've done about 50, 70 videos, and I know you like the spicy stuff. What's your take on are you using TikTok and Reels? What's the hot topic for you right now?
I love video because the real estate life is not the realtor life. And what I mean by that is you want to be able to show that your whole life isn't just about real estate, that you do other things too that are fun and family oriented or exciting and so forth. And you're living this certain life, which is great. Real estate is the vehicle for that life, which is dynamite. And I love it. But when it comes to channels, you know, Bill and Kerbox Media have helped me a lot. So, you know, they have me on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, TikTok and YouTube. I like YouTube a lot. I like Instagram a lot. And I really think there's a way to utilize TikTok. TikTok's kind of the one that's really breaking out right now. Yeah. If you like to use video where people understand your personality and it really showcases who you are. Because people like watching that. People like watching videos. It's like watching TV or your favorite shows, but there's no commercials and it's straight to the point and it's quick, easy, instant gratification.
So last but not least, am I the only one on this call that absolutely loves the opportunity of less competition and a more normal market? Do you agree, disagree, comments on that?
No, I agree. I mean, I'm on board with you on that. You always want to do things different and market differently than the competition because then it makes you stand out. You're not following the herd. Yeah. And I think that's important in real estate because a lot of people don't know who to trust and who has their finger on the pulse, especially in the community that they're in and when they're trying to sell their house. You know, everybody subscribes to one channel and that's what's in it for me. WIIFM. They're looking at house sold time with the least amount of headaches. And look at the dogs are even barking. That's how good the market is. The dogs market.
I love your dogs. I think it's fair to say if we close this off with the following thing, it's time to get back to work. But your family and your bank account are going to appreciate it. Fair game?
100%. I think that's a fair statement. Show up, be present, have high energy, be excited, help people and guide them the right way by understanding the data and understanding what they're trying to accomplish, not what you're trying to accomplish, what's important to them and where they're going with everything. I think it's super, super important to understand your clients' wants, needs, and aspirations. If you don't do that, then you're missing the boat and you're going to miss this market. I love when shift happens. When shift happens, I capture market share. This is my time to shine. And if you want to be like that, reach out to me, reach out to Bill. We'll show you all the different ways that we're marketing and insight that we're doing in this market right now. And I'm telling you, it will blow you away. It'll change your life in real estate. It'll change your game. You'll 10x your production and you'll get a lot of your time back. So reach out to us. Would love to help you any way I can. And guess what? I'll tell you the truth.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. Let us know in the comments what you like, if there's things that you want to hear about. But, you know, it's a moving target, and we're going to be addressing that in future videos. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks, Pete. Appreciate it.